The number one weakness that may hurt the BJP electorally.
So over-dependence on Mr. Modi is probably the greatest risk I see if I'm a BJP guy.
Is there anything Prashant Kishor is afraid of? If you were a stock picker and these politicians were stocks,
Look, what are we
who would you
reducing
bet on?
ourselves to?
Who would you bet on? Should I give you a list or you want to tell me the 5 you would bet on?
I would not.
Okay, so I'll give you. Akhilesh Yadav, Aditya Thackeray, Chirag Paswan, KTR, Jagan Reddy, Raghav Chadda, Omar Abdullah, Udaynidhi Stalin, Abhishek Banerjee.
Look what he's mentioning. All potted plants. See, he is wanting me to pick from 10 bad stocks, which is going to be the multi-bagger. None.
So you give us your pick.
Sorry?
You give us your pick. Who's
No,
the two or three stocks that you think?
I don't know the name, but I will just borrow something which I heard from Mr. Gates. He was asked this question when I was in UN. He was visiting Africa, and somebody like us would have asked that who will replace you as the richest person on the planet? And he said, I don't know who will, but I know for sure that the person who is going to replace me is not in the business today.
Okay.
Because if he would have been in the business, I would not have surpassed him. So what I see is all the names what you're saying, it's like you're
young
you're
people,
looking the rear. It's not young or old. JP challenged Indira ji. He was not young,
Okay.
but he was not part of the dispensation. He was not one of the chief ministers or one of the political leaders. BP Singh, when he challenged Rajiv Gandhi, he was not. None of us could have predicted this in '85 that it will be BP Singh. Anna Hazare was always there on the horizon till he emerged in one form and he literally destroyed the credibility of UPA through the Anna Andolan.
Yeah.
So we don't know if that person, I'm not saying by default it will be a new thing. You cannot sell the old thing again and again.
Okay, so is there one person who's not in politics today who you think has a great opportunity in politics?
Anyone
From
who
any
is,
field, in business,
anyone who is willing to put 12 hours and has a 10-year plan has an opportunity.
What is
as simple as this, including you.
Okay. What is the number one weakness that?
No, I'm already there. I'm already in politics, so I don't fit the bill. Yes.
The number one weakness that may hurt the BJP electorally.
Over-dependence on Mr. Modi may not hurt him today, but as it has happened in the case of Congress, over-dependence on Indira Gandhi, the moment she went, all flaws are now apparent to us, that there was no organization, there was no decentralization, there was no second-rung leadership, etc., etc. So long she was there, dominating, winning, nobody talked about this. So over-dependence on Mr. Modi is probably the greatest risk I see if I'm a BJP guy.
And BJP, after Modi, whenever that happens, at some point, is there somebody you think is likely to take that place today you can identify, or will it be?
I have no wisdom on that. I just said that whoever comes will be more hardliner than what Mr. Modi is.
And will Nagpur decide, or will the people decide?
Sorry?
Will Nagpur decide, or will the people
I have no idea about these things. Okay. I'm sure it's a BJP rank and file, the cadre, the key stakeholders will decide, put together. How Mr. Modi was decided. There was not one room where everyone sat and came with Mr. Modi's name. It was a 2-3 years of grassroots thinking, talking, pressure building. That forced the stakeholders to sit together and recognize him as a leader.
The one thing you've learned from Nitish Kumar?
No, not U-turn. The ability to maneuver and gain from the place of weakness is something which I would like to learn. He's very weak. He doesn't have anything to back. Forget about this presently what he has done. To remain Chief Minister of a state as big as Bihar, as complex as Bihar, the person, he has never worked from the position of strength. In fact, once in his life he has tried to work from position of strength. That was 2014, and he was reduced to 2. So since then he has learned that, some of these leaders, including Mr. Vajpayee, Narasimha Rao, these were the leaders who knew how to win from the position of weakness. So sometimes it is, in reality, they are on the weak position and they also make you believe what we say, koi isse nahi darta hai. So everyone comes around, okay, he's an harmless guy. So it's an art and a great weapon to have.
It's meant to be rapid fire, but I can't resist. Is there one story, one anecdote you can tell us that shows where he used position of weakness to his advantage? Because you stayed with him, you were like very,
Yes, I did. The very first time when he became Chief Minister, which was much before Mr. Modi, me or anybody else, BJP was twice in terms of numbers than Nitish Kumar.
Yeah.
And that time it was BJP who fought Lalu Yadav. But Mr. Nitish Kumar successfully persuaded or managed to convince the central leadership of BJP, Mr. Bajpayee, Advani, Arun Jaitley, all put together, that, this caste bogey, he understands caste very well. So he plays it very well. So he played that idea that only if you have you have me, then I can manage the caste thing. Otherwise, the Mandal thing will not let BJP to kind of win the state.
Would you advise state parties to push for caste census?
Not at all.
Okay.
State parties, yes. National parties, no.
Okay.
I think Congress made a big mistake. Congress leadership is completely, I would say, ill-advised by making this as a central issue. I've said this before, and they've already paid price. Probably one of the reasons was, when you are a national party, Lalu Yadav saying that there should be a caste-based census is one thing, and Congress to say is a different thing. And they paid a heavy price, to my mind, in Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh for overplaying this card, which again they would realize, like it happened in Rafale. Congress present leadership is overplaying this caste thing. It is only going to divide society. It will disturb their core support, whatever is left, and it will not fetch any incremental vote either.
The one secret ingredient behind Naveen Patnaik's political longevity?
Just remaining out of sight. So difficult to attack. So if you're not visible, it's very difficult to attack. You tell me, if you and I have to start, we want to attack Mr. Naveen Patnaik, what do you attack him on? Except for the fact that he's invisible. You don't attack him anything because he doesn't give you anything.
Okay.
It's just like when you're bowling, you just bowl on the six stumps outside off stump. So there is no question of it. Just you can't do anything but to leave the ball. Let it go to the wicket keeper.
Yeah. If Mayawati today were to call you and ask you for advice, what would you do?
I would say that I have retired.
Okay, but if you're reading Mayawati's book today, what chapter are we on? Where do you? Because that's one interesting personality who's.
I'd say the last chapter is already written. The BSP andolan has been killed, or rather traded, to become the chief minister. And this is what happens when you trade the long-term goal with the short-term gain. So BSP, if it would have stayed the path, I'm one of those who believe that this could have become one of the national parties in true senses. But in their pursuit to become the ruling party in UP, they made too many compromises, probably diluted the andolan of this Dalit empowerment, and a political party where Dalits where the Anusuchit Jati, they don't like to be called Dalit, Anusuchit Jati, SCs are at the core. That got diluted, and hence when there is no soul, then body can last only that much.
If the BJP were to call you today for advice on 2024, will you accept their offer, or?
No, why would they call me, first of all? And even if they call, why would I go? I have left them long back.
Okay.
It's not about BJP or BSP. I have left that domain 2021. It's just that you guys can't stop calling me the political... I find the funniest thing is that I'm called to talk about the entire politics of India. But if I say that in Bihar, Jansuraj will do well, people say, oh, he doesn't know what the politics of Bihar. No, I don't know politics of Bihar, but I know politics of whole of India. What will happen to BSP, to BJP, to Lalu, to Rahul. But I don't know what is happening to Jansuraj. And I find it very funny when journalists write this. I say, there's no problem in them saying that I don't know about Bihar and politics. But the same journalists, when they say that I know anything and everything about politics in India, that is contradictory.
But
so make up your mind, what do you think? If I know about politics of India, I know a little bit at least of that of Bihar.
Okay, which institution has a better finger on the population, on the pulse of the nation, RSS or BJP?
Any day, RSS.
Okay.
Not because who they are, it's just because the farther you are from the power, better you are, you're more likely to be closer to what people think. There is this line which I always say, हम लोग बच्चे में पढ़ते हैं कि राजा जब भेष बदल कर निकले तो उन्हें पता चला. This is a great line of wisdom. No matter who is the king, no matter how smart you are, no matter how big is your tantra of data and information collection, so long people know that you are a king, you will never going to get the right information. तभी तो ये कहा जाता है कि ये राजा जब भेष बदल कर निकले तो उनको पता चला कि प्रजा को ये दिक्कत है. And that's the challenge every person who sit on the chair he has, and that is what this fancy word of anti-incumbency. All those who reach that position, they have gone through the grind, they have gone through bottom up only, most of them. They just, at some point of time, they get completely disconnected because everyone who comes, they tell you only the right thing, what you want to hear. Or even if you say that, tell me the truth, you'll say, nahi sir, sab to theek hi hai, thoda sa ye lag raha, jara sa isko dekh lijiyega.
Yeah. Of all the people you've worked with, who was the most challenging client?
Nobody has been a client. So I never worked, I was a political aide. I have never worked in this client relationship.
Okay,
Otherwise, I would
not
not have
client,
this you don't live with your clients.
No, that's true. Okay. So between Stalin, Mamta, Kejriwal, Jagan, Uddhav, Nitish and Amrinder, which campaign was the toughest for you?
Toughest was Punjab in 2017 because it was with Amrinder Singh and Congress, which is up against a rising force of AAP. A lot of people do not realize that what stunning success AAP got this time, they would have got it in 2017 only, but for the campaign what we did. So I have said it before, I have said it immediately after the election. It was the toughest election. It not talked about much because it was not between Modi and Rahul and two national parties, but it was the toughest election to crack. Because when we started, Congress was somewhere around mid-20s, and Aam Aadmi Party was polling 50%. And every day we used to go and look at data and say, nothing is moving. And 6 months, the needle didn't move. But there came an opportunity, and we just, literally, electorally, we killed them. So it was tough.
And out of all these names that I said, the people who you've worked very closely with, who's the one person you've learned the most from?
I learned from everybody. My father has taught me one thing which has done great service to me, that whoever you meet, there will be always people who will look at the gaps. You look at what is his strength, why that person. So I have learned a great deal from Laluji, from Nitish, from Modi, everyone. We learn from, I'm nobody. I learn from everyone.
The one big difference between Modi of 2019 and Modi of 2024?
I told you, that in his own way, in 2019, he was somebody who is taking India to the greater glory. In 2024, he is somebody who is bringing God to India.
Identity or welfare? Which one of these is the more potent election weapon?
Welfare.
I think
Never make this mistake. A bad government, no matter how much you play, whether it's Mandal, Kamandal, will not give you the vote.
Okay.
It will give you some vote, it will not give you the victory. Unless you marry welfare with identity with something, welfare with something, it's not going to work.
The one thing that needs to change in Dravidian politics?
Dravidian politics?
Yes.
Dependence on cash. It's a sad affair for some of the most prosperous and well-performing states. The influence of money in politics is far greater and worrisome than what it is in northern India. So elections in Tamil Nadu, Andhra, Telangana, Karnataka, to some extent now in Maharashtra also, are becoming so expensive, and the money which we hear and see, it's just unimaginable. An MP, a member parliament in Tamil Nadu, the money which they spend, probably that money is good enough to fight the whole state in north. It's sad.
If you were today to predict how many seats for BJP, how many seats for NDA?
Would never do that. I never
You'll never
do
do
this.
that. I know, I was
I
trying.
would never do this. I would say that as of now, Modi-led NDA or BJP they have a significant advantage. They are well ahead. It would take something unthinkable in next 2 months for their gains to reverse.
Okay.
It's not easy.
Last question, rapid fire, then if you have time, we'll take for audience anymore. Is there anything Prashant Kishor is afraid of?
I'm afraid of...
Prashant Kishor is afraid of?
I'm afraid of getting up in the morning and realizing that my brain is not working. I'm very scared of this brain strokes. So, so if I'm not able to think, that's something which really scares me.